This meeting is being recorded.
So, good evening, everybody. My name is Obinwanne Alisigwe. Today, we'll be discussing the state of the nation. This is some of the highlights of the topics that have been discussed nationwide throughout last week and last 2 weeks. And then before we dive into the discussion, I would like to introduce our special guest today. I will start with my co-host, Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. Nnamdi Achonu, who is the National Vice President of Nigerian Community in Germany. He's also the founder of Indigenous Nigerians in Kiel, Germany. He is the Assistant Treasurer of Afro-German in Germany, and also is a guidance and counselor, motivator. He's a principled man and self-disciplined man. Mr. Nnamdi Achonu, you are highly welcome.
Thank you, my brother. You are highly welcome.
Okay, moving down, I will also want to introduce our Honorable Ugochukwu Nzekwe, who holds a BSc in Government and Public Administration, Masters in International Affairs and Diplomacy, Diploma in Industrial Safety. He represented Engr constituency in Imo State House of Assembly for 8 years. He was the special advisor to the governor of Richard Sokorocha's administration on mobilization, and the pioneer Imo APC deputy chairman, and presently the special advisor to governor of Imo State Senator Hope Uzodinma on public safety. Honorable, you are highly welcome.
Thank you.
Also, I would like to introduce my friend, my classmate, Dr. Tony Ezeribe, who holds a physics PhD from the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. He is currently a visiting scientist at the European Council for Nuclear Research, Switzerland, and the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory, United States. He studied the origin and physical content of the universe. Dr. Ezeribe is a senior lecturer at the Nnamdi University, Awka, Nigeria, and a senior research scientist at the University of Sheffield. Doctor, you are welcome.
Thanks very much, Obi, for having me.
Also want to introduce my very good friend back in Futo, Engineer Eru Benjamin, who is a research engineer in the industrial and academic world with focus on energy transition, metallic waste valorization, and step processes. A graduate of Federal University of Technology, Owerri, graduate of University of Mining and Metallurgy in Leoben, Catholic University of Leoben in Belgium, and Achonu University, South Korea. His hobbies include traveling, reading, and crafting. Engineer, you're highly welcome.
Nice to be here once again.
So we want to dive into some of the important topics that have been discussed the last few weeks in Nigeria, ranging from the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria. I will try to give a bit information about what the country has been doing and what subsidy is all about. Subsidy is a form of a waiver given to reduce the cost of a product, and the Nigerian government has been subsidizing petroleum prices since the 70s, making it lesser than the market price. Subsidy is one of the issues in Nigeria today. The result shows that while a reduction in subsidy generally results in an increase in Nigerian GDP, it can have a detrimental impact in the household income. According to the finance minister last week, because last week the government agreed that by the end of June, the subsidy will be completely removed. But government came back through the Senate president and the finance minister saying that the government believe that the timing of the final subsidy removal is problematic, that it is still that there is still inflation, a removal of subsidy will further worsen the situation and thereby imposing difficulties to the citizen. My first question will go to Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. The question is, do you think Nigerians are ready to deal with fuel subsidy removal?
Thank you, Mr. Obinwanne. In Nigeria, we come from, and the fuel subsidy issue have been lingering for years on it being used as politics. If you watch the last election, 2015, that was one of the things they used campaign against the incumbent government. Even our President Buhari used it to make campaign and ask, what are they subsidizing for? And the fuel subsidy that we want to remove, that is for the interest of the people, from the elites. I listened to some of the people that analyze about the cost of fuel in the West African countries, like Togo, Cotonou, Ghana. They didn't even talk about the wages over those countries and the population of those countries. When they tell that fuel costed almost 400 naira in Cotonou, almost 600 or 700 naira in Ghana or the Ivory Coast, those people are not oil producing countries. Fuel subsidy, if they subsidize the fuel and the Nigerians will see the impact of it, then it's no problem. Now that the NNPC have brought out amount they need to pay for the fuel subsidy, 3 trillion. Do you know 3 trillion, how many hospitals and how many schools it can build in Nigeria? The problem is corruption. If the fuel subsidy is removed and the subsidy money will get empowered in our country, it's good. But they are doing it for their own selfish pockets. Let me leave it for now for the guest speakers to tackle the issues. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Achonu. I'm going to direct this next question to Engineer Eru. Speaking, just to continue what Nnamdi Achonu was saying regarding the NNPC requesting for 3 trillion as fuel subsidy in 2020. The reason behind the high figure is due to the increase in price of crude oil, which is $80 per barrel. How will this money help the common citizen if it should be used in building infrastructure, schools, hospitals, roads, refineries, etc.?
I'll say actually, we have a problem with planning in Nigeria. This was why in the last presidential election debate, when Peter Obi was debating with Osibanjo, he kept saying China, China, China. Nigerians were shouting. China, their plan is 70 years plan. Our plan is always short term, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. And we have to always revise it based on current economic realities, which we peg the price of a crude oil basket. So basically, I would say if they actually use that money, it might go a long way, but we know how it is in Nigeria. It is one thing to apply for money. It's another thing to receive the full amount. And if you even receive the full amount, how many pockets is that money going to before it goes to the actual project? So by the time you trickle down from the top to the bottom, it just goes all over the place. Mostly end up in private pockets. So it doesn't even matter whether you allocate or you don't allocate. The issue is, what are you actually going to do with the money? How much are you going to achieve? 40%, 50%, or 0%? So I think that's where the main focus should be on, not whether they release money or they allocate the money in the first place. Because we know in Nigeria, it is what it is.
So you are saying that that's given the notorious inefficiency, leakage, corruption, and waste, mismanagement, and excessive bureaucracy that characterize the management of public funds.
Yes.
That the Nigerian government, people managing the finance of Nigeria are not capable of reinjecting that 3 trillion to things that
they are capable. The problem is the invested interest in the system. That's just the problem. If you allow the Nigerian civil servant to work, he will do his job. But the problem is, to whose benefit are they working? It's for the pocket of their paymasters. The money will just be, like I said, this is Nigeria. We know how it goes. That's just the major problem.
I believe 3 trillion will go a long way to help develop, to build schools, hospitals, and refineries. Now, I think I want to, sorry?
Our problem actually, there's a mistake, like I was having a discussion earlier with somebody on a Twitter space. They were like saying the incoming president will like focus on manufacturing, this. I have to them, man, this is 2022. Modern realities, that is 1970 economics. Today, for you to enter the G20, you have to produce just 3 things. Enough electricity for your people, enough steel for your people, and enough cement for your people. If you can produce those 3 in sufficient quantity, in a decade, you will be among the top nations in the world. That's just the secret. You don't need to produce cars or whatever, it doesn't matter. Once you can get those 3, it's enough. At least we have got enough from the cement. So if you can get the steel and the electricity sector right, that's what you need. So if you tell me they want to invest, I'll tell you, keep education aside. If they can focus on electricity, because our problem, we can generate, but we can't distribute. That's the problem of Nigeria. We generate enough, but we cannot distribute it across the nation. So if we can solve that problem and that of the steel industry, I think
how do you think this government can solve the problem of distribution of electricity, since we can generate it?
They have issues with DISCO. They have to sort out, they sold that. So they have to meet with the companies, the DISCOs, discuss with them, and also look into the laws if they can. It's a legal issue, let me put it that way. It's more of legal than engineering. Because I think a boy was making that complaint that they sold some companies based on political consideration.
Yes.
And he can't do anything about it. So that's why I said it's more of a legal issue than even an engineering issue in Nigeria.
Okay, anyway, let me just move a bit away from that. I'll be directing my next question to Honorable. The new most completed Dangote refinery has a capacity of 670 barrel per day production. Port Harcourt refinery can produce 210 barrel per day. Warri refinery produce 125 barrel per day. Kaduna refinery produce 110 barrels per day, sorry. And Watersmith refinery in Owerri can produce 5,000 barrels per day. The question is, why is it taking the government ages to rehabilitate these refineries, knowing that if this refinery is in full function, it will actually push for the complete removal of fuel subsidy?
The question, is it directed at me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The moderator, I think I will ask you to talk a little bit louder, because
okay.
Somehow I'm not hearing you very well.
Okay, I will rephrase the question. I'll make it very simple. The question is, why is it taking the government ages to rehabilitate the refineries, knowing that if these refineries are in full function with the support of the newly about to be completed Dangote refineries, it will help to boost the argument on the removal of fuel subsidy? Why is it taking the government ages to rehabilitate these refineries? Hello, sir, can you hear me? Hello? Maybe it's network. Hello, sir.
Okay, sorry, somebody distorted my distance. Somebody called me from okay, if I got your question very well, first of all, I want to say here that I heard when you were reading my CV. I'm still working with the government, and right now, here I am. I'm trying to contribute to what people are doing. I want to clearly say that I am not speaking on behalf of Imo State government as advisor to the governor. I am just making my own personal contribution as a Nigerian,
yes,
so
sir.
that nobody should record me as I'm talking about. The issue of subsidy and the issue of refinery. Let me start by saying that when Nnamdi Achonu was talking, he mentioned corruption. And what he also failed to mention about fuel subsidy, the politics, the issue of refinery. There is no government in Nigeria, whether it's of APC or of PDP, that wouldn't want the refinery to work, to function and work at this capacity. The problem we have remains that issue of corruption and politics. When Abacha was the head of state, remember people they call Nadeko. Maybe some of us do not know what I want to talk about now. Part of the instruments they used in fighting Abacha for him not to succeed himself or to come out as a civilian president after his military activities was to render some of the areas. This what I'm talking about is history, and I want some of us to grab it very well.
Okay.
It was to render some of these our sources of improving the economy, like a refinery, to render it incapacitated, because we used to have a lot of professionals, engineers working in those places. And when people decide to go on strike to get at the government, they can go at any length to do that. That's when the refineries started having problem. And as a matter of fact, the way and manner they destroyed some of the refinery made it difficult for the country to bring them back to function. Now, coming to what you're asking, if you people have been reading the news or watching the activities in Nigeria, the Minister for Petroleum States did say that before the end of this year, some of the refineries will start functioning. The one Dangote is building, the one they have in Port Harcourt, and indeed the one they have in Kaduna, is because government have invested heavily. And everybody now have come to realize that without our refineries function, nobody will enjoy this issue of petroleum resources in Nigeria. So I want to say here that if you're asking me why is it taking them too long, my answer to it is because people have used that particular area as a weapon of making sure that a government does not succeed. And sometimes when I do put up this kind of argument, people don't understand me. Our people in Nigeria are bad losers. Politicians in Nigeria are bad losers. It's a question of if it's not me, nobody will be there. And they will go at any length. They will go all hog. They will do everything possible to make sure that they run that system down. That's the part of the problem we're having. But right now, I think with what APC government is doing, between now and November this year, things will turn around, and this issue of subsidy and petroleum problem will be a thing of the past. I want you to quote me on that.
Okay, sir. Just a follow-up question to what you just said. Like we all understood that the NMPC has requested for 3 trillion, and this 3 trillion is only for 2022 fuel subsidy removal. And now with what you are saying as an APC member, that the APC government is doing everything to make sure that the listed refineries will be in function by the end of, by November, if I heard you correctly, sir.
Yes.
Okay. You know, last time we discussed things about accountability.
Yeah.
And one of the problems we have, which you also stated, is corruption, that some people are working hard, that other persons in the office, they don't allow them to deliver their electoral promises. Why is it difficult for these politicians to be held accountable for these things? Because we know them, you people in the government know them. Why is it difficult for them to be identified and prosecuted?
I will tell you, part of the problem, I like the question you're asking now, is not that it's difficult, because if you watch, the EFCC just last year recorded a whole lot of successes. They recovered hundreds of billions of naira in cash and properties. That will show you that the system is functioning. But the truth of the matter is that we have this problem of ethnic chauvinism in politics. We want somebody from our place to be a president. We want our brother to be a president. We want somebody from our party to be a president. Now, when you do that, anytime somebody, that's why I'm telling you, I'm talking as a person now, I'm not talking about the
Yes, sir.
functionary. Now, when you do that, if anybody commits offense, if the person is your party member, you can see that you will find it difficult to persecute that person and to make sure that the person face the book. Somehow, it does not start, it didn't start today.
Okay.
In the past administration, even when other people that were in EFCC were there, anytime you commit any offense and you talk to the Attorney General or somebody that is up there, they will do something to somehow exonerate you. That one is one. Secondly, there are some people you want to arrest. If the person is coming from the east, his brothers will say, yes, they want to arrest him, they want to do this because he's an Igbo man. If he's from the west, they say they want to arrest him because he's from the west. That's the politics I'm talking about. And it's bringing us back. It's bringing the country back. Let me remind all of you, some of you living in abroad, I visited Germany or some developed countries several times. Each time I come there and touch the switch, I will see light. Each time I open the tap, I will see water. I don't even know who is bringing that light and the water. What I know is that I'm enjoying those things, and they're sufficient. They're there every time you touch that place. So you don't care whether the person is a black American. You don't care whether he's a black German, but those things are functioning. So you see how things move in those places. But here, the moment you touch any person, you will see the politics of they are doing this. Sometimes if they talk lies, they just want to use it to run the government down. So if you're talking about bringing people to book, the government of APC right now is trying, and you see part of their mantra is chasing corruption, and they've been doing well in doing that. And one thing you must know, when I talk about Buhari, people think that I talk about him because he's from my party. No, he may have his faults, his shortcomings, but the truth of the matter is that when you look at him as a person, in the past, we used to talk about president who amassed so much wealth. If you say Babangida stole 20 billion, the next person that want to come out of Babangida want to steal 50 billion. You know, they're using that as it's competition. But Buhari, look at Buhari now. You cannot even talk about him stealing money. What people are talking about him now is that he's not fighting insecurity and stuff like that. So the truth of the matter, in all what we are saying, is that by the time we begin to think as Nigerians, by the time we begin to know that this country belongs to all of us, that's when we'll get it right. You know, if it's issue of arresting, they've been doing that. People have been, even not just Okal that happened to be APC member, it's someone who was arrested. But people were saying that he was arrested because he's from the east, you know, and then at the end of the day, it's the same system that brought him out. You see, so that's the kind of politics I'm trying to tell you that we play here. If you do the same thing from somebody from the West, they will say the same thing. So I want our people to understand this way, so that when we are playing politics, let's talk about our country first and not on what will benefit us as individuals.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for a detailed explanation to the question I asked you. My co-host, Mr. Nnamdi, I think you have something to ask.
Please, my honorable Nzekwe, yeah. From what you said here about the corruption or APC, and secondly, I don't see any person, any whistleblower that will come out now and start pointing about the corruption in APC or Buhari government. Let's wait tomorrow if APC is not in power again. Then the lapses of the corruption, because as it is now, it cannot fight the present government because they have all the powers. Any whistleblower coming to tell you about the corruption is risking his life and the life of his family. That is one. Two, we're talking about system of the government. Like one Mr. Eru here who mentioned about the debate between Osinbajo and Mr. Obi. When the Osinbajo was talking almost about the China policy. In China have a policy about corruption. Why is it that the government always adapt or copy the policy of countries that favors only those people in government, not the thing that favors the masses or the country? Because in China, they have a policy of corruption. It's death sentence, it's capital offense. So what will you say about it? And being in this present party, because your former party chairman, who is Osinbajo, openly, publicly said it. If you join APC, your sins are forgiven. Thank you.
The question you asked, let me start with the last thing you said. If you join APC, your sins are forgiven. I see if I knew you were going to ask this question when I mentioned Ugochukwu.
I was about to ask it, sir, before you came for me.
Yes, I think I see if I knew you were going to ask this question. My brother, I have said it. In Nigeria here, let me even start by reminding all of us. My first attempt to election was in 2003. That's when I entered the House of Assembly. I have been in the system till now. Part of our problem. That's why I said when you mention corruption is part of it. Then the other one is when we don't have respect for rule of law. You see, nobody, there are some governors today, when you give judgment, whether at the lower court or the higher court, unless they get to Supreme, they violate it, they don't agree, they don't believe in that.
Okay.
Because the kind of power they control. Ugochukwu, like I rightly mentioned, when he was the governor of Abia State, he was not an APC member, but they arrested him and tried him for corruption when he was already APC senator. And that will tell you that it's not when you join APC, they will say your sins are forgiven. What we have as a problem, like I mentioned, I have to make it very clear here, because I've come to study that. What we have as a problem here is that people do all manner of things, whether dirty or clean things, to make money. And when they make this money, they make too much money to a level where they can use that money to fight a system, including running a system down like Nigeria. We talk about corruption and we say it's corruption. Now, when you don't have respect for the rule of law, and when the court says, persecute this man, the person will go behind and give bribe with part of the money he stole. And at the end of the day, they will leave him off the hook. What I'm saying is not only happening in APC, because we are in APC government now. It happened when other parties were there. So that's why Buhari said, when he was campaigning for election, he said if he's elected, he will fight corruption. And indeed, he is fighting corruption. But because he's fighting corruption, that's where you are looking at the problem of Nigeria as if it's only insecurity. We may not know that part of the people that stole Nigerians' money, because Buhari planned to touch them, to bring them to book, they use insecurity to create more problems for the administration, to distract him. And when you have a lot of money you stole, you can buy people in judiciary, dirty ones. But I don't say that we don't have good judges. We have a lot of good judges there in Nigeria. You can buy people there. You can even buy some security people to cover things up. You know, so it's not a one-man thing. I can clearly say that the government of APC is doing everything possible to fight corruption. But because of politics, like I mentioned earlier, people want them to fail. Look at Desiane Madueke, the kind of money she stole as a minister for petroleum. Up to today, she's still using that money to sponsor people in Nigeria. If I tell you how much she invested in Atiku's election, you will not believe me. Because her mind was, if Atiku wins the election and as a member of her party, she will be left off the hook. She will come back from exile to join people in Nigeria. So people are using a lot of money they stole to create problem in Nigeria. And that problem they are creating has caused a lot of pain on Nigerians. Like this is security now you're seeing. Some politicians are behind it and they continue to fuel it. And they want this administration to start fighting insecurity until, and as they are fighting it, they are doing everything possible to make them lose the election in 2023. Because if they lose the election and their people comes in, then they will continue from there. So it's a vicious circle problem, if you people understand the angle I'm coming from. And that's what I want to leave it for now.
You mentioned something about Desiane Madueke.
Yes.
That is an indirect accusation. How sure are you that he was one of the sponsors of the Atiku election?
You know, if you say it's a direct accusation, I have told you I've been in politics for a very long time, and part of the things we know here in Nigeria, you people do not feel them. Maybe you just read them from maybe internet and stuff like that. Today, she's been tried. It's not a hidden thing. They even recently asked for her to be rearrested. Nobody will ask you to be arrested if you don't commit any offense. You know, and if they try her and see that she didn't do those things, good. But as we are talking now, she's supposed to be in Nigeria. Then the question you ask yourself, if she is free, why is she in London? Why did she run away? Because if you're asking me the question, the evidence that I have is that she has run away from Nigeria. She's not in Nigeria. If she's in Nigeria, she should be available to answer some of the questions. But for the fact that she has run away,
I think his network, or maybe someone called him. Maybe someone called him. Nnamdi, you're on mute.
I mean, Mr. Obi, can you go forward to the next speaker? It is Mr. Nzekwe network.
He might be on the call.
Okay, it's fine.
Some people are just distracting my distance here because they're using calls to distract me. Okay, so I'm with you.
Okay, sir. Everything you've said, yeah, I have like 3 or 4 follow-up questions to ask.
Yeah.
But then I will move my question to the insecurity when we go to the insecurity part, because we have a lot to discuss here today.
Okay.
So I will shift my next question to Dr. Tony Ezeribe. And this question is, what do you think is the advantage? What would be the advantage of common Nigerians if this subsidy is completely removed? And what might be also the disadvantage?
Well, thanks, Obi, for that question. I will, I think I will give you a simple answer to that and then try to explain further. Subsidy removal is not going to directly help an ordinary Nigerian. But should I encourage the government to keep paying 3 trillion naira every year to support it? No. Why I said that it will not be helpful to ordinary Nigerians is because the government is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. The problem is a liter of fuel in USA as of today is 500 naira. A liter of fuel in UK as of today is 960 naira. Come on. A liter of fuel in Nigeria is, the last I bought it was 200 naira. Do you understand? So there is a gap, between what is achievable in the market and what we are doing in Nigeria. So the impact of the subsidy is being felt in Nigeria. But if it is removed, what they are promising is that in a few months, if it's removed today, it will be at 340 naira. Well, if it is removed, I'm sure that the cost of a liter of fuel will get to 1,000 naira within a few months, within maybe 1 year or 2 years. Why did I say that? The cost of petrol at the pump will be controlled solely by crude oil price. But there is another problem. Another problem is that the West are going away from fossil fuel. Okay, cars are mainly electric cars now. My car is electric car. All my friends, their cars are electric. People that are still driving fuel are driving hybrid. Okay, so that tells you that in the next 20 years, all the cars here. In fact, in Los Angeles, if you buy electric car, the government pays part of the money that you're using to buy the car. If you are buying a petrol car, you pay the money. But if you're buying electric, government, subsidizes, they give you some money. So that tells you the commitment of the West in moving away from fossil fuel. What are the dangers for Nigeria if that happens, like that in the next 20 years, the West succeeds in moving away from fossil fuel, no one is going to be buying our oil. We drill the oil, we bring them to the market, no one is going to buy. At that point, our government will not be able to pay salaries. Okay, I'm talking about next 10 years, next 20 years. Our government will start struggling to pay salaries. And when that happens, there will be hunger, insecurity will rise to power 100. Politicians won't be able to move around. So I think this is an opportunity for our politicians to start thinking, how do we come out of this? Okay, we're supposed to start thinking of industrialization. If we don't sell petrol, because what is happening now is that we sell crude oil, we bring the pot of money to Abuja, and everybody turns up and share from the pot. What if that pot disappears? Where do we go from there? So I think it's a critical point in the life of Nigeria as a nation for us to start thinking, of a solution. Remember that Goodluck Jonathan tried to remove subsidy in 2012, 2013. That was not supported by the people currently in government, by Buhari, Osibanjo, everybody in APC. They mobilized the NLC, they mobilized all the civil society group in Nigeria, and they did occupy Nigeria. Okay, what happened? Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and the Jonathan retracted. But Sanusi, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and Jonathan were at the forefront, shouting at the time that we need to stop paying this money. We need to stop paying it. We need to get Nigerians to start contributing to what they use. And then we redirect the money. Think about it, that NNPC is requesting for 270 million naira every month. That's what they are requesting.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
to 3 trillion per year. So that gives you an idea of the amount of money that we are going to save if that is removed. So I think it's good. But the danger is that Nigeria shouldn't only depend on the pot of money we share in Abuja, on monthly basis. Even if subsidy is removed, people will start suffering, yes, because if your salary is 30,000 naira and you have to buy a fuel a liter of fuel for 1,000 naira, you can't function with your car. Okay, so there has to be issues relating to people, to the civil service. Civil servants, their minimum wage has to be reviewed, okay, to reflect that impact. Okay, because you cannot pay somebody 30,000 naira per month and you want him to pay transportation, because even if you don't have car and somebody buys a car and uses it for transport, to provide transport services, the person needs to buy petrol. So that means if you are moving from Wedra, you know, where to say Iyagwa, you have to pay like times 10 of what you used to pay. So people will need a review of salary. When that happens, the government starts struggling. Is the government prepared? You know, the current government, are they prepared to increase salaries of people when the subsidy is removed? Are they prepared to provide alternative sources of income? Are they prepared to motivate state governments to look inwards? Because each state, I believe, each state in Nigeria has capacity, human capacity, have mineral resources, you know, to thrive, each of the states. But what we've done is we've motivated laziness in our state government. Okay, so the governments relax, they don't do anything. At the end of the month, they just hope to go to Abuja to take share of the national cake. That has gone on for a very long time. If we don't stop that, Nigeria will be doomed. As soon as the West move their energy power to sustainable energy, wind, electric, and solar, and so on. So
okay, Doc, sorry, I want to ask you a follow-up question to what you just said earlier.
Okay.
Are you trying to say that the government of President Buhari is right to halt the removal of fuel subsidy at this moment due to the fact that the common masses cannot afford it?
Well, yes, because they don't have option, unless if the government has a plan in place for them. But if the government don't have any plan to absorb the shock that will come from the fuel subsidy, there is no need doing it.
That means the present administration does not have the plan, because this discussion, the federal government promised that from June 2022, fuel subsidy will be completely removed. Now, from what you are saying, it means that the federal government does not have any plan in place. That was why they halt the removal of fuel subsidy.
They need to tell us if they have plans. But from what I'm seeing, they are saying that we have to wait for another 18 months for them to come back to us. Okay, so we have to wait from February 2022 for 18 months. So that is over 1 year. That is telling you that as of today, there is no plan in place. Is there going to be a plan in 18 months? Think about it. There's going to be new government. Okay, so I think what they are playing is politics. I think what they are playing is politics. What they want to do is just to focus on election. And
I think Honorable wants to add something to what you just said, Honorable. let me give Honorable a chance to respond to
that. You want me to talk about the subsidy?
No, I think you are actually, you don't really agree to what Doc is saying, because you are taking
No. You know, see, my brother, let me tell you this issue of subsidy. When you want to juxtapose what happens in Nigeria with what happens in other climes, you will agree with me that this issue of subsidy supposed to have been a thing of the past, a forgotten issue. But like I said, we play politics with everything we do in Nigeria. You hear that they spent 1 trillion last year subsidizing fuel in Nigeria. Nnamdi was talking about the other developments, health, education, and things like that. If you remove subsidy, This who can cry, like I'm not saying that it should be removed though, you know, this who can
Okay.
cry, people are shouting now. We'll just take a short time and the things will go normal. Because, for instance, a government that promised they will do road, do this, improve in infrastructure, budgeted up to 55% or 60% of capital projects in Nigeria. You may not see all those things when they continue to subsidize petroleum products in Nigeria, because the money that they're supposed to put in other places, they are using it to other economic sector. They're using it to subsidize fuel for people not to suffer, for people not to complain. You cannot make omelette without breaking egg. Okay? If we agree on that, look at civilized world. When you build industries, when you provide employment for the teeming youths, when you build factories, when people are gainfully employed and they can afford vehicle, or they can afford to pay for their transport system in Nigeria, subsidies are supposed to have been removed since. The thing is bringing this country backward. But because they are playing politics with it, look at it now. Somebody was saying that I was making argument with one of my colleagues the other day from PDP. He said, we are holding you in jugular. We are holding you in a very bad place. Remove the subsidy and see what will happen. NLC that you see there, they are preparing to go on strike. Yes, it's their job and they're ready to go on strike. But if you look deep into what they were planning to do, you will see invisible hands of other parties in what they are planning to do, because they want to run the system down. What I want to say here as a Nigerian is this: let's focus on what will benefit every one of us. If you remove subsidy tomorrow, it will be like deregulation. You allow market forces to determine what the price of fuel will be. But instead of that to happen, you will see people bringing politics into it and make things very difficult for the common man. Okay? Look at communication. Today, that we have what do you call it? Glo. We have MTN. There's great competition in that area, and the business is thriving. It's going. It's moving on well. If you do that in this particular sector we're talking about now, maybe it will take a while. Things will normalize. But because people continue to shout, when he was talking about the common man suffering, I know it will happen. It will happen because the moment you do it, you will see politicians trying to come into it and make sure that people suffer, so that by the time they suffer, when the election comes, they will not want to vote APC again. That is what I was talking about. We must first of all think like Nigerians. What will be good for every one of us? Not what will benefit my party man as an APC man, or what will benefit a PDP man as a PDP man. You know, this issue of petroleum subsidy, it's been there for a very long time. People are just afraid to remove it. And I can assure you, if they do remove it and look into other sectors, for instance, the minister, that's something he mentioned the other day. He said part of the palliative that they have in stock and in plan to put in place for Nigerians is that they are going to talk about using gas, you know, for automobiles. That one will be cheaper for people to purchase, for people to buy, because it will even be cheaper than PMC, petroleum products. And by the time they do that, these things of like my colleague that my young man was talking about there will not happen. But like I said, if you use 3 trillion, 1 trillion to introduce factories, to introduce industries, and employ people, pay them handsomely. If you employ them and pay them handsomely, the issue of subsidy crisis will come down. They should allow the government to use those money they're using to subsidize fuel to put in other sectors. People are talking about corruption. Yes, I agree. But this particular area now, the government is saying that we are ready and prepared to develop the nation. We're ready and prepared to develop Nigeria. Allow us to do this thing. Anytime they talk about removal of subsidy, people will be shouting. It will create problem, it will get suffering. Let them do it. It will not take 2-3 months for things to normalize. But presently, why I'm saying that I'm not supporting presently is because some politicians want to hijack it. You understand? And when they hijack it, it will affect APC in the next election. So subsidy continues.
Honorable, please. Mr. I have a question for Doctor from what he said before. Doctor, can you please unmute your?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
You mentioned now you are using an electric car, and how much they are selling fuel in America and other countries. Did you talk about the minimum wage in America? Or are you checking it under the international rate of the currency? And you know, as our Naira have devalued, and you mentioned it, and you remember that our minimum wage is 30,000. And the car,
I don't know if people are hearing me. I'm not hearing anything again. I'm not getting the.
We can hear you.
Horrible,
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
I'm not hearing anybody again.
Yeah, then you check your system.
Can you click on your?
He's connected. Just maybe network is the problem. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Chon.
So somebody was asking me how much was a liter of fuel in Nigeria. Then I told him our liter of fuel in Nigeria, when you compare it with the euro, it's around 30 cents. He said, wow, 30 cents. I said, yeah. I said, another question is supposed to ask me, what is our minimum wage? Then I said, our minimum wage was 18,000 then when he asked me the question. I said, our minimum wage was 18,000. I said, what? And how much is minimum wage? How much is 18,000 in euro? When I checked it, the guy was like, are you people working for free in Nigeria? You go to work and go home freely. They don't pay you. So if you compare what people are using in America, where prices are being controlled by government, I think if people are not buying in liters, you are buying in gallons.
You mean in UK?
You buy in gallons.
That is in US. In UK, we buy in liters. But
Okay,
let me answer your question. Let me answer your question. Thanks for that. So the cost of petroleum in these countries, I believe, is mainly controlled by the market, okay, and not their minimum wage. What that means is a marketer, an independent marketer that imports petroleum that imports maybe crude and refined, will go through all those processes, do the refining, bring it to pump. Okay, he's going to fix price based on the expenses he has made, okay, to get to that point, and then sell. So why I push that back to Nigeria is, if Nigeria removes subsidy, the government cannot control the price anymore, okay? So what will be happening is that they will get crude, refine it, okay, and calculate the cost, the total cost, at the point it comes to the pump, and then charge that to the ordinary Nigerians. And I'm saying that cost is going to go to 1,000 within 2 years. And I pointed out that there is a bigger problem even after that. The bigger problem is that our customers, the people that buy crude oil from Nigeria, will stop coming in the next 5-10 years. Reason is due to this move towards electric cars, okay? And when that happens, the Nigerian government will try to solve the problem by pushing the contractors to put more money in terms of tax on the petroleum, which ordinary Nigerians will pay. Okay, that will also increase the price. So think in the next 10 years, a price of petroleum may be 5,000 in Nigeria. Okay, if the subsidy is removed. That is the projection. Okay, the question is, how do we avert that? Okay, how do we avert that? I heard what the Honorable said. The Honorable was like trying to project why it is important to remove fuel subsidy. I totally agree in what he's saying. I totally agree that it's good that we remove it. I think PDP agreed when they were in power. due to the same politics that the honorable is complaining now, Goodluck was unable to do it. Okay, because APC at the time, Fashola, Buhari, name them. They were in Lagos. They organized Occupy Nigeria, El-Rufai. They were sitting on the floor with the NLC. Okay, and that was why it was cancelled. So it is the same type of politics. Okay, now PDP is trying to do the same to APC. So it's Nigerian.
Donald.
So it's a Nigerian politics. Okay, is Nigerian politics. The issue is, I think the government should start thinking of a way to handle the problem, which is there should be plans in place. There should be plans in place on how to help the citizens to absorb the shock that will come from the subsidy. A potential thing to do is to take part of that money and increase salaries of people. Okay, minimum wage should go to something that should absorb that shock. That is one. Two is there should be a plan on how to avert the long-term problem, which is no one buying crude oil. Okay, there should be industrialization such that when the crude oil stops, we will start getting groundnut from the north, cocoa from the west, things like that. And the economy continues to roll. Our Ajokuta steel industry functioning, the economy moves. We should have car companies. Innocent is doing well. I don't know whether Pan and Kaduna is still working, but we should start thinking towards in this direction to be able to remain a nation.
Okay, Dr. Rabbi, I know you have a lot to say about this, but I will cut you short due to the time. We are almost 1 hour, and we have 2 more major topics to discuss. So I'll move to the next topic, which is restructuring. One of the key manifestos of the All Progressive Congress, APC, during 2015 presidential election campaign was to restructure the country for absolute transformation. Following President Buhari's victory at the poll, expectations were lofty as Nigerians patiently waited for the new political system promised at campaign ground, only to see gestures depicting otherwise. The president, on June 19, 2021, vowed that his administration will not restructure the country, stressing that those agitating for separation and canvassing for restructure are naive and ignorant. My question to Engineer Eru, what do you think of what the president said regarding restructuring?
The issue is this. For us to talk about restructuring, it's a constitutional issue. That's what the politicians always tell us. We have to go back to National Assembly, they have to do this, do that, amend this, amend that. But actually, it depends on where you are looking at it. Is it an economic issue to some part of the nation? Here they have to lose a huge chunk of the national budget that is going to their coffers? Or are we talking about actually restructuring the country in terms of power, political weight in the nation? Nigeria was built basically on a tripod, whether we like it or not. Nigeria was built based on Wazobia. Wazobia did not start today. It started in 54. Western region, Northern region, Eastern region. And it was built on the back of what I'm about to say might not be popular, but it was built on the back of minorities. The North take care of the minorities in the Middle Belt. The West take care of the minorities in the Warri province. The East take care of the minorities in Ogoja and Calabar province. So everybody just take care of your area. Everybody is happy until they got into the modern Nigeria. They did the constitution of 1963, we moved into a republic. Barely 3 years into implementing it, then the coup happened in 66. We won't see move Nigeria back into a unitary system, central government. So basically, we're like running Nigeria like a Ferrari, but its engine is that of a Peugeot car. It's not possible. Instead of everything coming from the region to the center, is from the center going back to the region.
Exactly.
So basically, we need to understand we need historical restructuring, not just economic or political. If we don't understand this, we can never get it right. For me, if you're asking me, I'll tell you basically, if we're talking about restructuring, let's go back to the original stage. But the issue is this, we have already created states. That's why I said the issue of economic restructuring is coming up. Are you saying, okay, you have a northern region with about 19 states, having one single allocation, you are going to share for 19 states? The eastern region, they are having 5 states, one allocation to the east, the west. And mind you, in Insecurity, we now have the Midwest region, just 2 states. Are you going to share? So it's an issue of, it's a combination of several issues. So we are going to talk about politics, history, and then the issue of power, because we have to balance power. How do we sort out the issue of power at Abuja? So it's a lot of combination of all the issues that we have to get into, if we can talk about the issue of restructuring.
Okay, I completely understand what you're saying. I will just quickly redirect this question to Mr. Achonu. Mr. Achonu, are you there? Mr. Nnamdi Achonu, are you there? Okay, as we are waiting for Mr. Achonu.
I'm there.
Okay, Mr. Achonu, okay. The question to you is, I have 3 questions to you, it's combined. Yeah. This is, why should we restructure? When should we restructure? And how should we restructure?
You know, when we start having a problem in our table, and instead of tackle the problem in our table, we start looking for excuses. When Mazi Nnamdi was wherever he is, talking about the restructure, making people uncomfortable, making the government, not people, making the government uncomfortable. Every east, west, south of Nigeria, even the northern, this issue of restructuring was coming on their table. And when this young man is no more, his freedom was seized, and the issue of restructuring is not going on, some of them start withdrawing the topic from their table. Like I said before in a previous interaction, this restructure can be done in a roundtable conference with this country. And I feel that this restructure, like what I said before, Nigerians will benefit from it. What are we copying? I thought about copying the good things from developed world, developed countries. Mostly developed countries, their countries are restructured, like I said before. Our honorable said that whenever he traveled or come to Germany, he will just enter a house and touch the switch, the light will be there. Open the tap, the water will be running. He doesn't know where the water is coming. He doesn't know who is operating the light. But why is all those things functioning? See, because the people in that land, they know the benefit, they know what they are enjoying, and they are paying for it. Why in Nigeria, when you go around, you see there's no light, and somebody will bring a good bill for you. It doesn't make you happy to pay the bill. Give me what I want, I will pay you. Like when we talk about the fuel subsidy. Remove the fuel subsidy, you will see that my brother said transportation of fuel can be sold on 400 naira for now. But within a twinkle of eye, it will go to 1,000. So when we have this restructure, we know how many people that we are in a local government. We know how many people we are now in our own secretarial zone. If you are arguing something, if you are going for something, you go for something you know about. I bet you the honorable If you call him now and ask him some of the new local government, some of the new autonomous communities that is now in his territorial zone or the zone that he represented before, he might not give us the accurate number. But if there is a restructure, he will not be talking about the federal level. He will focus on his state level or his local government level to know what and what that is going on in his local government level. That is one. Two, this restructure will make the insecurity more hard to operate. The security of the state or the local government or the council where you are coming from. Because the police you are going to employ is police that are being born and bred there. The people that is going to secure knows him from in and out. He has some schoolmates, he has some primary schoolmates, secondary, university mates that knows him, knows the family. For example, in Germany here, if your grandfather have a criminal record, he cannot join police.
That's right.
They are not talking about your father. Your own grandmother have a criminal record, he cannot join any security outfit for the state because they feel that that runs in your gene. It's because they have a restructure. Everything started from grassroots. From this restructure, it will also minimize the corruption. Restructure can minimize corruption in our country. Who are you going to corrupt? Are you going to corrupt your sister or your brother or your grandfather? Pensions are not being paid. Doesn't concern him because he that is holding the pension of the old man doesn't know the old man. But if it is a restructure that everybody is in a grassroots, you know that Mr. A was once a headmaster and he have retired. And Mr. C knows that Nnamdi Achonu is the pension man that's supposed to pay the pension. And I come back home and start erecting a mansion in my house. Why I have not in my village, why I have not paid the people their money. Everybody will know who I am and who was my father. Maybe my father was a postmaster. And now, because they gave me the pension director, now I'm building mansion. And people are not just dying. So my brother, for now, there's a lot of things to talk about the restructure. But let me give chance for other guest speakers.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Achonu. I will direct my next question to Honorable Ugochukwu. Honorable, are you there? Hello, Honorable, are you there? Okay, while we wait for Honorable to join, my next question will go to Dr. Tony Ezeribe. Question is, why are some federating ethnic nationalities of the Nigerian state? No, sorry, let me rephrase it. Are some federating ethnic nationalities in Nigerian state truly marginalized or dominated by some? That is in the context of restructuring.
Yeah, thanks for that question. Yes, I think it's obvious in Nigeria, and there is reason for it. The Nigeria fought a war, in 1968-70, a civil war, and what led to that war was coup and counter coups, and some of the coups were tagged Igbo coup. For instance, because of the leader of the army came from that region. And because of that, other regions saw it, because people from their region were killed and things like that. They saw it as an attack to their region, and they thought they should be careful dealing with people from the east. And because that has happened, there was some counter coups planned to kill people from the east, and that triggered a war. Okay, What Ojukwu did was that he basically drew a line that anyone that crosses this line should be saved by declaring Biafra and so on. So that happened. And since after that, Nigeria as an entity has not gone beyond that. People from the north, when I say people from the north, I mean the Fulani people, the minority in the north, they are, but somehow they are very intelligent people. They are controlling the north. All the governors are Fulanis. All the senators are Fulanis in the north. All the House of Reps are Fulanis. And they are just like 5% of the population. So they are very intelligent people. They think that Igbos are threat to them. The people from the West also believe that an Igbo man has some element of Biafra running in him. So because of that, the North and the West don't really believe everything that comes from the East, which is a big challenge, because I personally believe that in Nigerian management, we have entrusted Nigeria to the West, we have entrusted Nigeria to the North. We should entrust Nigeria to the East and see whether it remains the same. I believe when that happens, Nigeria will change, because there are a lot of people from the East who have seen the pains of marginalization, who knows what a working Nigeria should be. They are pained, they are motivated, they want to give it all, they want Nigeria to work. So I believe if these people are brought, in power, things will change. So yes, people are marginalized. I believe it's solely based on the Civil War. Yeah, let me keep it there.
Okay, thank you, Doc. I'll switch my next question to Engineer Eru. This question is, should Nigeria go back to regional province government, which gives the state regions greater autonomy to manage their resources and grow at their own pace, also in the topic of restructuring?
Thank you for your question. I think, let me reply Dr. Ezeribe before I go to my answer. They are both intertwined.
Okay.
First, yeah, let me also say there's a general misconception in Nigeria that the West and the East, and then let me also say in Wazobia in short, they are having issues based on, should I say, the Civil War, how it was prosecuted, how it was handled, and the aftermath. But I'll tell you, that's a misconception. The problem actually started since 1942. 1942. That was when the first domino card fell, Alisigwe. He made a speech, though I would say maybe it was innocent, or he said the Igbos are destined to lead the black race and Africa in general. It can be, imagine Nigeria in 42. You get my point? It can be interpreted in different ways as a means of domination. Go back to 47. They went for the London conference. He and Fumilayo Kuti, the mother of Fela Kuti, they had an issue in London. They came back over appropriation of money. It now became an issue of East versus West in London. They came back to Nigeria. It's now degenerated into what they call the Lagos Press War of 1948. Many people don't even know that today. When they heard that the Oba of Lagos was like saying they would throw the Igbos into the lagoon, they have never heard of the Lagos Press War of 1948. It was very terrible. It became the pilot newspaper belonging to Zik, and I think daily service belonging to the Igbo Oduduwa, we are the media wing of Obafemi Awolowo's party. It was Abat Macaulay that won't sort out the issue then. They had to call them to the table and sort out the issue. It was very massive, but many people don't know. The media battle went to the background, but nobody have actually forgotten what was happening. Then Azikiwe again, he gave one speech. It's called, if I say I want to give, let me list the top 3 speeches in Nigerian history. I would say that's among the top 2, alongside the Ayara Declaration of Ojukwu. I think you have to read that speech. That was June 25th, 1948. Very excellent. But how do the other regions see that speech?
Accepted speech, yeah.
Going down the line, we got to the 50s. They had their own political issues. That led to, I think that was in 52, they had a crisis in, I think it was in Kano. It was a political issue in the north. When they came to visit in the east, they came to visit the north, they were like, let's give them a return leg. It led to massive riots. There was destruction of life. But many people don't know that. They just think, oh, the Northerners attacked the Igbos in Kano. It was politics. They did the election. We all know what happened in the election. So down the line in 60, of course, they found the Governor General Alisigwe, Prime Minister, of course, they did power sharing, while Awolowo was the opposition leader. 63, we did the Midwest referendum. One thing people don't really understand, I think I have to really talk about this topic before going to, because this is the basis of the issue of referendum. In 63, the Western region controlled by Awolowo was split. They did a referendum, so the Benin and the Warri province was cut out of the Western region. We got nothing. I'm from the Midwest region. They gave us nothing. There was no sharing of properties. They shared nothing. So when the Easterners are crying off, they gave them 20 pounds after the war. We got nothing after our referendum. We have to start from scratch because they said we didn't contribute. And actually, we did contribute. The cocoa house, the radio, everything got to the West. So
that's
now,
fair.
Yeah, we didn't complain. We were quiet. So when you talk about referendum, we should understand there's economic referendum also, restructuring. So the thing is this, NCNC, who is Zik party, which was an amalgam of Abat Makauli's party. Many people don't know that. Abat Macaulay founded NCNC. And when he died, Zik took over the leadership of the party. He was the secretary when Macaulay was alive. But many people don't know that. They say NCNC is an Igbo party. That's a mistake. It's a Yoruba party. They don't actually remember that. So the issue is this. The Midwest and the Eastern region was controlled by NCNC. Two regions. One region was controlled by Achonu Group, the Western region, and MPC controlled the North. So 2-1-1. Now the coup of 66 happened back to unitary. So it was now like a flat system. Now we are going back to the old system. How are we going to do it? If you tell me basically we say go back to the provincial system, because you have to solve the question of the Niger Delta and the middle belt. That question have to be solved. The northern region never allowed the middle belt to break free. They never allowed them. So if you are going back to restructuring, that means you have to create a new region for the middle belt. It was only because, like I said, there was a platform. Only in the West, Midwest region could break out from the West. It was the politics via Okotebo. He had to rely on the support of Zik from the East and Sabelo from the North to break from the West. The East, you have the Ogoja and the Calabar province, they could not break away from the East. So you have to think about that question.
Sorry, one question, Mr. Engineer.
Okay.
Where do you think the South stand in this restructuring topic?
I would say basically we don't care. Because my point is this, it's back again to the question of 63.
Because when I listen to the people from Port Harcourt, Delta State, they always believe that the major revenue comes from their state.
Yes.
That is the oil and gas. Now, if you are telling me right now that the South doesn't care about restructuring, it makes me wonder, why would they complain if the government is sharing these same resources they believe they have to other states and giving them part of it?
Can I comment on that?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So what restructuring means to a common Nigeria does not backdate to any year. So restructuring does not mean that we are going back to what we used to do. So there's nothing like region or so. What restructuring will guarantee is that a man in Bayelsa will be able to control their resources, pay taxes to the federal government, provide security to themselves, if we so agree, and run their local government. Okay, so they should be able to control their resources. So if they have oil, they should control it. Nobody should come and share from what they have. If Bayelsa should be like Dubai in Nigeria, it should be a point of tourism. They have a lot of money. They should pave their streets with gold if they have the money. Then people in Anambra or Kanu or Adamawa should look for something else to do. That is what we are talking. Well, that is what we are saying when we say restructuring. Restructuring means leave every state on their own. Stop sharing national cake. Okay.
Yeah, but if you decide to leave every nation on their own, which could have been my next question. Now we have a country like here in Germany, some states support other states.
Yeah.
Also in the US, in all the developed countries. If Nigeria decides to accept the terms and conditions of restructuring, that states can produce and also use what they have produced, meaning the richer states will give some quotas to the federal government to support the other states. You cannot just say state will just what they will feed with what they produce. What about the poor states? The poor states, because as it stands now, we are still one Nigeria, no matter what we are discussing right now. We are one Nigeria. There is no breakout. Yes. We are still Nigeria. If this country is going to function and we decide to focus on restructuring, it means that the richer states or the richer regions will have to support other states that are not financially buoyant enough.
Well, there's no free lunch, right? So what will happen is if Bayelsa has a lot of money, I know oil will crash, okay? But let's assume that Bayelsa and Port Harcourt, Cross River and Co. have
one direction in regards to your oil. Sorry to cut you short.
No, it's all right.
The oil and gas sector is not just about PMS, AGO, and so on. This crude oil can be used in various areas. In plastic production, Engineer Eric can attest to that. Crude oil can be used in even automobile production, even in metals, in most of the things. But Nigerians, we are mainly focused on PMS, AGO, and DPK from the crude oil. But this crude oil, if it's well harnessed, it can be used in various departments, not just in production of PMS and AGO. So go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I agree with that, but remember that the market that you're talking about, quota, things like that, yeah, is not as big as AGO. That's why they are in that market now, but that's where the money comes. Okay, so if that market crashes, it's going to affect it. Okay, if you are drilling 1 million barrels now, you're going to fall back. You're going to fall back to like 10 barrels, right? It's not that the market will not be going, but it's going to be very slow. So there won't be money to share at the center. That's what I meant. So assuming Bayelsa make a lot of money, all these states, they make a lot of money, poor states can come and borrow from them, but there has to be agreement signed, okay? They can give them money, and whoever borrows money has to meet the terms, but not helping. There is no free lunch.
Dr. Ezeribe, just to add to what I was saying earlier, we still have one Nigeria, and because we have one Nigeria, we function in one entity, and that is to say, you saying there is nothing like free lunch, this is not how it functions. Even here in Germany, cities like Stuttgart, München, North Rhine-Westphalia, they support some cities in the east. Now, there is nothing like anything like free lunch is not even discussed because it's a country, Germany.
Can I help you? Can I help you, Ms. Obi?
Okay, please.
You see, yes, all fingers are not equal. And the coming in natural resources, some people are lucky to get it, some people are not lucky. Like what you said in Germany. When the East joins the West Germany, they saw that there's nothing in East Germany as I'm telling you today, if you go part of Germany, you see a whole top of buildings that are empty. Because people living there notice that there's nothing coming there, all of them now pushed to the west. And the government of the country have seen that people are living that area and it makes it so boring. Then they started investing in infrastructures. They started increasing wages that place to make it attractive to people to come. They are not producing anything. There's no, companies are not there. But now they are pushing, even the asylums that comes here, they push them to the east. So let those people start another new orientation in their brain and seeing that they are doing with other people's. That is one of the things. And in Nigeria, where we come from, where we are talking about, like I said before, some of our governors are lazy to produce something in their area. Formerly, there's something what they call trade and barter. There's something Imo State need from Medugri. And there's something Medugri need from Imo State.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Abba is trying to say anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing here. Like here we are staying. The time Israel want to build their warship in Kiev, the time they want to build their warship in Kiev, due to the name that it stays where they are building it, was a conflict. And the material they are going to use was another conflict. They have to allies with other states in Germany for some of their machines they want to use. They have to liaise with another company in Dresden because the type of engine they need to build this ship will be produced by Dresden. And coming in Germany, it was in Dresden that they have the most quality code to manufacture engine blocks. So they're now helping them from one way or another. I think Mr. Honorable is also back.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, we can also do that. One question I have for Engineer Eru. He was talking about the restructuring or referendum, how it's going to affect some Southeast people. And after the war, why the 20 pounds was given the Easterners and then they got nothing. Where you are working, everybody's paid under the wages, how you work. It's how you refuse their salary. The people that we are giving 20 pounds, that they are the people that fought the war. The Middle Belt, they didn't fight the war. Rather, we are just roaming whom to support and who they're not to support. So when the wages are paying, wages of the wars are paying, the little 20 pounds was given to the Achonu that time and left Dr. Erum alone. Dr. Erum, next war that you are coming to restructure, please fight with me so you get something when they start paying me back. That was the joke. Thank you. Mr. Honorable, we are talking about restructure before you left us, or network problem. I will give it to Mr. Obinwanne to clarify you what we are talking about now. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I will clarify, Mr. Honorable, and I will give Dr. Ezeribe to finish up what he was saying, because he was trying to arrive somewhere before we cut him short. Honorable, we've been discussing about why we should restructure, when we should restructure, how we should restructure, and also some of the marginalization among the ethnic states in Nigeria. I have a question for you, Honorable, but before I ask you that question, I want to leave allow Dr. Ezeribe to finish up his answers.
Yeah, I will wrap up quickly and then allow Honorable to contribute. What I was trying to say in essence is, if Bayelsa, makes a lot of money from petroleum products, we should be able, as an entity, as the Nigerian entity, allow Bayelsa to enjoy the money. Bayelsa should be able to build their city. I'm from Anambra State, we don't have much oil. So we have to now go back to our state, think of what to do to survive. So the man from Kano has to go back to Kano and think, how he can survive. If at the end of the month he can't pay salary, he can go to the federal government, because federal government collect tax from everyone and ask for help. If the federal government cannot help, he can go to Bayelsa or Delta or who has money to borrow, okay, or do trade by barter, no matter what that is. But that has to be an understanding. You know, it's not, you cannot compel a Bayelsa government to support an Anambra government, okay? But there has to be an understanding. We have to discuss it, I agree, and do it. That's what we are saying by restructuring. Look at, take US for instance. Let's not look at Germany. Let's look at US. US run states, okay? There are governors of states in US that have a part-time job, okay? They go to night shift. In the morning, they are governors. In the night, they do some night shift to feed their children because there is no money in the state, okay? So that is the reality. We have to start telling ourselves the truth. If you happen to be from a poor state, you have to accept that this is a poor state, okay? And then you have to tell the other person that is from rich state that you are from rich state. What we can start arguing now is maybe how can someone from a poor state cross over to a rich state? Yeah, there can be a law that if you live in a rich state for 20 years, for instance, you can now nationalize and be able to contest and do things there.
In that state.
That state. So if someone from a poor state decide, man, I want to move to Bayelsa, he will pack his load, go to Bayelsa, live there, meet the requirements, and contest and do everything there. Okay, so there won't be constraining laws that confines you in a poor state. But if you choose to stay in the poor state, you become poor. If people start moving away from poor state, the federal government can decide, as you use the German case, you know, can decide to develop federal presence in the poor state, industrialize it, you know, put in money there to attract people. So I guess that summarizes my point. Thanks very much. Honorable.
Okay. Okay, I would have loved to give you a follow-up question because the topic you are discussing is very, very broad. That is what you are trying to tell us is how to restructure the country. Because from what you are saying, if this topic is brought on the table, it's going to take hours, days, weeks to deal with. Because some of what you're saying now, some states will not accept that. Some states in Maiduguri, Taraba, those poor states, they will not accept what you're saying. That is why this restructure issue, it will take Nigeria time to get to.
Yeah. Well, the issue is I think the starting point is we need to tell ourselves the truth. Okay. It may not sink the first time, but one thing with the truth is when it comes out, it is clear. Okay. Whether you accept it or not, it's going to be haunting you when you're sleeping. Okay. You're going to think about it. And at the end, you will see that it is the truth. There is no way Nigeria is going to function as it is. We have to do some restructuring at some point. Whether it's a full restructuring, whether it's a half one, you know, there has to be some shake-off. And remember that our constitution is still the military constitution. So we need at some point to call a national conference where people come around, discuss our constitution, make our amendments, you know, decide how we live our life. How should we be a nation? Okay, so we have to stop protecting, you know, that interest as if there is something there. There is nothing there. We can't. An Hausa man who doesn't want restructuring should be free to say that he doesn't want restructuring, and this is his reasons. This is his reasons. Then we can ask him, how do we move forward? Okay, and listen to him. And then somebody that wants restructuring should be allowed to say so. At the end, we collect the data and build a case for moving Nigeria forward.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ezeribe. Let me direct my question to Honorable Ugochukwu Nzekwe. My question is still on the restructuring issue. Is the bicameral legislature, that is the Senate and House of Representatives, too expensive for Nigeria, given the growing poverty and urgent need for basic amenities for the people? You're on mute, sir. Can you please unmute? You are still on mute. We cannot hear you.
Mr. Honorable, we cannot hear you. Unmute your microphone.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you hearing me now?
Perfect. We can hear you.
Okay. You know, my camera stuff in Nigeria is it had been there. We did not started practicing this system just recently. Since we embrace independence, since we started practicing democracy, we have always had this bicameral stuff there. However, if you are talking about it being expensive, somehow I will agree with you. I will agree with you because the members of the National Assembly go home every month with a whole lot of money. And the economy is not improving. Yes, I also want to remind all of us that you need to find out why we feel that members of the National Assembly go home with a lot of money. One, to sponsor an election in Nigeria today is very expensive.
Okay.
I tried it once, twice. In fact, I contested election up to 3 times when what you may likely call third term. Because after my 8 years, I tried to go back to the House of Assembly, and people started calling it third term. I can tell you that it's very, very expensive for you to win an election in Nigeria. What am I talking about? Apart from the money you spend in buying forms from your party, the one that you are going to use to do campaign, whether you want to visit leaders, whether you want to talk to the masses, and there are people because they are hungry. But don't forget the system brings about the hunger because the system tried to, you know how I started this argument. I told you I'm not speaking for the government. I'm speaking
That's
for myself.
right. That's right.
The system tried to impoverish our people and make them perpetual beggars, so that each time they want to come for an election, they follow only who can give them money. And when you collect this money from them, it makes it very possible for even an armed robber to win an election. Because if you can spend money and buy votes, because people are hungry, they vote the wrong people in. And it becomes a kind of business. And when you invest money in a business, what do you expect to get? You expect to make profits. So by the time you go to the National Assembly, the first thing that will come into your mind is, this money I use in sponsoring my election, I borrowed from the bank, I borrowed from individuals, I sold my property, either landed property or a home, for me to be able to win an election. So because of that, what do? You want to make sure that people I'm having problem with light, so that's why I'm
It's okay, sir. It's okay,
yes.
sir.
So I hope people are seeing me. I don't know.
We're seeing you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
We know where you are. We know where you are. You're in Nigeria anyway.
Okay. So when you spend this type of money and you go back, what you talk about is to, first of all, get all the money you spend during time of your campaign, even when they're talking about development. Now, what are these developments? They won't talk about restructuring. They won't talk about fuel subsidy. They won't talk about things that will benefit the majority of Nigerians. But as a businessman, you are, because you become a businessman just that you spend money when you're doing your campaign. You're only interested in making your money back. So sometimes, let me even tell you, people who contested the senatorial election, some spend up to 2 billion naira. Take it or leave it. They spend up to 2 billion naira, depending on the state where you're coming from.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you're coming there now, you'll be looking for a way to get all this money back. So when they talk about reduction because the economy is bad, you kick against it. And people have already given you the mandate to speak on their behalf. So what it then means is that you have already given your mandate to a thief, to somebody that will go there and say something that will only favor him. So while they are doing that, they will not talk about something that will favor you. If you want to talk about fuel subsidy, they will not listen to you because some of their colleagues who are in the same party with them are defrauding the nation. They are corrupt. So it's a vicious circle problem. By the time you look at it, you start shouting that the place is too expensive. You want to remove it. It is not. Everybody is contributing in making sure that Nigeria does not develop. Even people living abroad. And if you want me to go on and tell you about that, I will go. So for us, it depends on what you want to do. If it is by way of spending money, take-home money, if what they are earning is used to reconcile what the economy is making, it is too much. I can tell you that it is too much. Now, if we are talking about the money they spent, where the same people that are asking for them now to reduce the kind of money that the federal government gives to them, it is not much. So it's left for us now to see how we can remedy it. Before you talk about, even if you remove, let me say, House of Rep and put two of them together and say, let us practice a particular kind of system outside what we're practicing now, it will still be like that unless we reduce the kind of money we spend during time of election. So that's what I want to contribute.
Okay.
Okay,
now okay, go ahead, Nnamdi.
Honorable, please. My question to what you said, I can understand that there's no way business academy in university is together with political science. Does it mean that a politician in Nigeria is acting like he has no other job based only in politics? For example, here in Germany, our former president, or they call it councillor, Schroeder, after leaving the office before Angela Merkel, he left office. Under 1 year, he got another job with the petroleum company in Russia as their administrator. Does it mean that in Nigeria, a politician is a career? That they don't have any office?
Do you want me to answer you immediately?
Yeah, I'm asking. That's one of the things I picked up from what you said. That's why I want to throw the question to you.
It is a decadent system. Decadent system in the sense that even if you are a successful businessman before you join politics, let me take fuel subsidy removal as example.
Wow, it's interesting.
If the fuel subsidy is creating a lot of problem to our economy, that your business you are doing before you join politics will also suffer the same setback. So it's not that people don't have second address. They have second address, but the kind of money they spend, I don't know. Are you hearing me?
Now we can hear you.
Are you hearing me? Okay. They have second address, like myself. I have a private business I'm doing, even though I'm a politician. But I can tell you that when you are not handling your business in Nigeria here by yourself, you have something you are doing as a politician. You have sponsored yourself in an election, and you are there earning money from the government. The kind of money, because sometimes, make no mistake about it, sometimes you try the first time, you don't win. You try second time, you don't win. Maybe you try the third time. The first and second time must have eaten deep into your investment as a businessman. It has given deep into your business as a businessman. Then when you enter politics and you become a legislator, whether at the federal level or the state level, everything you'll be working towards is to make sure that you replenish your pockets. Wow. So that's why I'm telling you. And where is this problem coming from? It's coming from the masses. I think what we need to start doing now is on how to educate our people. The last time I listened to your discussion when you're talking about participation of people in diaspora in an election, you have a lot of role to play. Nnamdi, you are saying that people don't have a second address. You have second address in Germany now. You are working there. You're doing well. Come to Nigeria and contest the election. Go to House of Assembly. Go to National Assembly. Let your people there. You could say that you're up to 20 million in diaspora. If you can collectively sponsor some few individuals and ask them to come to Nigeria and participate in what they are doing, if you have a loud voice, people will hear you. You can make some changes. And if you stay there and speak on behalf of people in diaspora and say, let us from this moment do a bill that will allow our people to vote. If you're able to succeed, you must have done something meaningful to your people, I mean people who are in diaspora. And when they vote, they can vote a system that will not benefit Nigerians out and put in a better system. But when you are there and talk about maybe having meetings with people, you know, telling them that no, you need to participate fully. And I've been telling our people who live there, who live in abroad, the way to participate is not only involving yourself in meetings. Yes, you can come for public hearing in the National Assembly and say you want them to allow people in that. It may not happen, because when you leave, people who are inside will change whatever thing that you have said in that public hearing. So my advice is, when you people want to fully participate, begin to sponsor. Even this my man now that is anchoring this thing, with the kind of knowledge he has, if people can be able to sponsor him and say, go for us, you 2, 3, 4, 5 persons, go to Nigeria and go for election. If they win, they begin to change things from there. And that's how to do some of these things. Because when you allow people who are half-baked, who did not go to school, who are mediocres, people who are only looking for a way to make money, and allow them to go there, you continue to have this kind of problem that we are having. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. It's not about something being expensive. It's about people who are supposed to be there to go there and do the right thing. You know?
Mr. Honorable, please. I'm sorry to hold you off that place. I'm sorry to hold you up. Let me not forget the question. It's for you to be a candidate of your party. For you to be a candidate from your party, does it based on the capacity of the amount of money you have or you deposited, or does it based on the credit what you have, the pre-accreditation background? Maybe you have done this, you have done that, and you have done something like this.
The easiest way to answer you this question is Anambra election. That is the easiest way to answer this election. Now you can choose an answer that you like. Soludo became a governor because they won that election, not because he was the richest among all the people that contested that election. You know, you can now see that capacity is beginning to come in, knowledge is beginning to come in. So with that, and what he's going to do in Anambra is going to change a whole lot of things. He's not from my party, but I've seen what he's doing. He's going to set a standard, and it's going to be a model for a lot of states to follow maybe in the next few years to come. So it does not depend on how much money you have or the contact you have in the political party. It depends on what you have to offer, and things are beginning to change. Look at our argument now. Look at what we are doing now. It's part of development. It's part of things that may likely happen in the next few years, because everything that we're arguing here and talking about here, people are listening to us. So it's going to contribute in making sure that things stop working the way they used to do. So if by the time we continue to do this way, I can assure you that Nigeria will change.
Honorable, Thank you very. I want to, before I ask you this question, I want to thank you so much for being very, very honest in your answers, for putting politics aside when you answer questions. I really appreciate that. That gives me the chance to ask you this question. Are the representative truly representing the people or themselves? Since from your argument that most of these men, most of these politicians, they invest a lot of money. That means they are not there to speak for us. That means they are not there to speak for the masses who voted them. That means they are only going there.
You are now talking about who voted them. You say who collected their money.
As a matter of fact,
because you see, you are talking about voting now. If I buy vote from you, did you vote for me? You didn't vote for me. It's business. I paid you for that vote. So that's what we are saying.
So it is.
That's what we are saying.
It is obvious that we can all agree that
yes.
our representatives are most of them are actually representing themselves. Because how can you buy vote from me? You can only buy vote from me because you know I need this thing, I need money, I need food, because the government has failed to provide the basic amenities for the people. Are you there, sir?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I cannot. I'm not hearing you here. Okay. I don't know the question you just asked. But the point I'm trying to make is that for me, I have pointed out, and I'm not generalizing, it doesn't mean that we do not have quality people in the legislative chambers. You understand? We do.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Maybe. Have you arrived?
Okay, I think.
Have you arrived?
A call is okay. Guys, this topic we are discussing now is
Engineer Eru is with us.
Eru is with us, yes.
Okay.
Yes, this topic we are discussing is getting heated because okay. Honorable, you can unmute yourself. Okay. You can go ahead, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
Hello?
You can go ahead. We're hearing you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Now, but the point I'm talking about is we need to quietly look at all these points I have put up here. Election in Nigeria is very expensive. And because it's very expensive, you don't expect people who spend money before they go there to only go there and speak on something that will favor everybody without making sure that they recoup the money they spend.
And who is to blame? Who is to blame in this? Because if we are saying that this
something is wrong again. I can't even hear you. I can't even hear you guys again. Something is wrong.
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
I mean, if the honorables are, engineer, do you have anything to add to this? You are muted.
I said I'm just enjoying the conversation.
because you know everything the honorable is saying is something that each and everyone, I know everyone must have question on this, but I don't want us to.
I totally agree with the honorable. I just wanted to chip in some solutions. I think should help Nigerians. I think I totally agree with the honorable.
He's being very honest. He's being very fair in the discussion.
So that is a big commitment, from a Nigerian politician. So that is very, very commendable. But yeah, to run an election is very expensive. The question is, how do we cut the cost down? How do we cut the cost down? A potential solution could be to stop for government or for the Senate to vote to stop paying politicians a lot of money That is why it's do or die affair, because they know there is a lot of money there. Let me give you an for instance. A professor in Nigeria earns between 400 and 500,000 per month. Okay, but somebody that did not even finish university and wins a Senate and 3 million, which about another 15 million wardrobe allowance. You understand what I mean? So if we have to benchmark such that people can work to become professionals and make money. You don't need to be a politician to make money. Only people who are motivated to serve can now go to politics to serve. So for instance, if a senator is forced to earn about 700,000 in Nigeria, you see most of these politicians will go and rest. And then only people that are committed will contest. And they won't have money to buy votes. They won't have money to pay talks. They won't have money to rig an election, okay? Because you know that you're going to be earning 700,000. And if you want to make that 700,000, there are a lot of other things you can do. But if the money is 400 million, 800 million, that you know that if you're doing business, you won't make it, you will start killing people to go and make that money, okay? So I think it's a very critical point that was raised. I think we have to really think about it.
Okay. I want to just say a very short story of what happened to me during my time in Futo. Eru can attest to that. When I was contesting for financial secretary of my department, I was in second year. He was in third year.
I'm back again. So where did we stop?
we are still on the same issue.
We'll get back to you.
Okay. I can. Do you want to continue? I can leave the room for you. I can leave the table for you to continue.
Okay, so what I was saying, the point I was trying to make is for me, I am not supporting people in the National Assembly to make money. They should be able to do what they were asked to go there and do. Let me tell you what happened to me for you not to be surprised why I'm speaking like this. When I was in the House of Assembly, I argued with the Speaker of the House because of the security vote they were giving to him and the Deputy Speaker. And I told them, how do you enjoy collecting this amount of money from the system, and when you drive on the street of Owerri, you see kids selling pure water, selling gala, and the profit they make is 60 naira every day. You cannot provide scholarship for them. You cannot do anything for them. You come here, you collect this amount of money. I didn't know that while I was challenging them, I was also challenging the man who was preparing the budget in the Ministry of Planning and Budgeting. I was fighting against the people at the government house, people who share this money when they finish the budget. So they conspired and said that I should be suspended from House of Assembly. And when they want to do it, they do it with everything they have, with a lot of impunity. So I was suspended and I stayed outside for almost 5 months. It was my party at the national level that intervened for me to be brought back to the House of Assembly. So I'm not speaking like this because I'm no more in the House of Assembly. I'm speaking like this because it's in me. And it's because of this thing that I have been able to serve in all the government in Imo State from the time I entered politics to this moment. Because I'm always on the side of the masses. You understand? So I'm laying everything bare to you people so that you will understand why we are having the kind of problem we are having. You people must help by making sure that you talk to your people here. If you're sending Western Union, if you're sending money to them from abroad, tell them that this is the type of thing that they need to do. You saw where I normally use Anambra State to give example is that it was in Anambra that somebody refused to collect 5,000 naira for her to.
That's right. Yes.
So the thing is beginning to change. It's beginning to happen. So it's not that it's impossible. It's something that is possible. But all hands must be on deck. Do your thing. Like I said, I'm happy with what people are doing now. People are listening to us, and I can guarantee you that in the next election, it's not going to be business as usual. Trust me.
Believe it, sir. Okay.
Mr. Honorable, please.
Yeah.
must the election in Nigeria involve money? For you to buy votes, it is all because it's the only person who didn't prepare for exam will start looking for expo. We start looking at the question paper before the exam comes.
This is my brother. You see,
You see, let me finish. In this state where I am, the person that contested for local government chairman,
he was knocking at the door.
He came to me directly. The people that did the campaign was the man, the two daughters, and the wife. They were the people who passed the poster around the whole local government.
Yeah.
The children came and begged their friends to help them to pass the poster of their father. And that, what makes me happy about it, after the election, the man won. They still have time to start going to people, writing them, thanking them, doing advertisement to thank people for voting them in. When will the sort of thing start? When will you, Honorable? We go to a printing press, print your poster, give your wife point, give your children. Maybe I'm in Nigeria, I said, Nnamdi, my friend, help me and paste poster on the other side. I will help you, you paste it without charging you any money and without you spending money to tell somebody to go and kill me for you to vote. So when will such a thing start happening?
Okay. It will start happening when you start participating in what we are doing fully, because that is when it will. That's when it will start happening. You know, I have said it time and time again. The last time you were arguing here, you asked about I think zoning.
Yes.
Somebody that lived there said, I don't know, I think he lived there. He said you introduced him as the chairman of diaspora, whatever, if I remember.
Mr. Bandi. Mr. Bandi.
Yes. You saw what he said. He said, because of the situation of things in Nigeria, that he had to support zoning. He didn't come there to tell them that Angela Merkel did this or that and handed over to so and so person. They did not consider zoning because there are two different things. You cannot use what is happening in Germany now to compare what is happening in Nigeria. And he gave his reasons. He said because of the way and manner things happen in Nigeria, that he supports zoning. Now, if you're using that what you are saying there to give me example, you know, we know you people have come a long way, and that's why we said come back home and bring all these ideas. You cannot effect any change from talking from a distance. Okay, if you come here and do your campaign and go to somebody's house and knock and they believe you and vote for you, good. And if you come and do campaign and they tell that they are hungry, you know that sometimes when you're talking to people today in Nigeria, if you like now, I send some videos to you. If you're campaigning to people and telling them that you will do this for them, you will do that for them, and you finish talking without saying you are going to give 500,000 or 1 million naira for them to buy pure water, they will throw stone at you. In fact, they will throw pure water at you. Go and ask any person. You know, so now, I said I don't know the kind of time you people have. Let me make small contribution here. Contribution here.
Okay.
For us to stop all these things, we have talked about, let me use my state as example. Recently, the budget of Imo State now is about 380 something billion. It may not be much in the eye of any person, but what interests me is that the governor wants to do 71% capital project out of that project. It means that it's going to be project, and in that project, some will be industry, some will be factory, and then people will be gainfully employed, and roads will be good. Okay. Now, do you know what? People need to allow him to execute that budget. If you don't allow him to execute that budget because you don't want him to execute it and then enter into the minds of people for them to say he has done well and want to vote him for second term. If you start sponsoring insecurity, if you start sponsoring violence, if you start sponsoring all manner of things to make him not to succeed, you are bringing that state forward. Sorry, you are bringing that state backward.
Backwards, yeah.
That is what is happening in Nigeria today. Even when people who means well comes in, because of the penchant of politicians to gain power at all costs, they will not allow those things to happen. So if you're talking about money politics, people in those days, like I'm asking you now to come back home, you need to beg people and say, my brother, you can do this. Come and contest. If you contest, we are going to back you. We're going to support you. If we start doing that from our villages, from our communities, from our local government, let it be that the thing is starting from, democracy is all about coming from below. Power, but democracy, it has to come from below. Power comes from below, up. So if you people agree that this is our son, we know him, that if he goes there, he will do well. And every person, if you give the money, they will say, we don't want the money, we want this man in. If everybody decides to do that, money politics will be eliminated. Okay. But if we continue to deceive our people, telling them that this person is our friend, this person is our brother, this person is our in-law, when he does not have the capacity to do the real thing, we will not get it right. We will still be suffering from where we are. So I've given you some of these examples so that you will understand what is happening here. Okay, everybody will have roles to play. We have one thing or the other to contribute. And if it's happening that way, do you know, you know about Prophet Moralo?
Yeah.
If you take time to listen to that young man, the next thing you will say is, give this man Nigerian presidency. That's what you will say. But you will see, with all those grammar that he's speaking on the television every day, politicians, they don't care. In fact, when they look at him, they laugh. You see, you know why they laugh? They laugh because, one, they feel that he's coming from a party that is not popular. One. Two, he does not have the kind of billions other people have to give. Three, he's coming from Southeast. They will not start talking. Is it the time of Southeast people to produce president? But you know that even if it's not time for Southeast people to produce president and you vote for that kind of person, all those things you are enjoying in America or in Germany may likely start happening here gradually because you have voted the right person. So all of us will have roles to play. And then finally, you see what has been going on. INEC, I listened to INEC National Chairman thanking his men in Anambra State that they did well because maybe some people paid the money to do whatever thing and they refuse, you know, and they did the right thing. Are you only going to thank the INEC people? Are you only going to thank the INEC National Chairman? You know that if Buhari is corrupt, that's why sometimes I mention his name. People don't understand why. If Buhari is corrupt, if Buhari does not mean well for Nigeria, he would have tell the INEC National Chairman, I want my party man there, APC man, to win that election. Do everything you can to allow him to win. But for him to allow INEC to do that thing there, we should give credit to him. We don't need to start listening to all these things that people normally say. Until we sit down and discuss Nigeria, we'll go on and on and on and on and say all the bad things that are happening without embracing the good ones. So I hope that you people understand where I'm coming from.
Thank you very much, Honorable. This topic, if we keep discussing it, we're going to take a lot of time. Let me summarize it by just telling a bit of story of what's happened during my time in Futo, and also my story will also answer Nnamdi his questions. During my time as a second-year student in Futo, yes, I wanted to contest for financial secretary, and my friend here, Eru, was in third year, and this post was mainly for the third year students. So when I declared my interest, they said, no, you're not going to win. You're not going to become. Do you have money? Some of the guys in the final year will tell me, one statement I had during my campaign, they said, politics in Nigeria, in Futo, in any school is three things. One, money. Two, money. Three, money.
Yes.
I was a young boy. I didn't have that money. But I thought about something because I believe in grassroots. And this is the same grassroots that brought Soludo to power. This is the same grassroots that brought Donald Trump to power. I used grassroots. I went hostel to hostel, room to room to campaign for my election. Even the final year students that we are saying that this post is not meant for third year. At the end of the election, Eri will bear me witness. the election was draw between me and the third year student. It was draw. I didn't have the money he has. This guy is coming from a very rich family. I don't stand any chance. It was now these final year students, they were convinced with the way I openly came out to campaign, with the way I convinced them. It was a 5-man vote from the final year students. I got 4 out of 5. So to direct to what Honorable is saying, I think it's time for us to navigate the negative thoughts of not believing that this country will move forward and try to do something, no matter how small it is. Try to contribute. If you are listening, if you are here online, if you are contributing, it is time for us to make that step, regardless of the norms. Regardless of the norms, you and I can make the change. Let's move forward. So, going to insecurity. This topic, we are going to make it a very short topic, and I'm going to channel my questions to the Honorable as the Special Advisor to the Imo State Governor on Public Safety. According to Olatunde of the Vanguard newspaper, he said 1 in every 3 Nigerians have planned to migrate out of the country. The reason is not far-fetched. The song on the lips of every Nigerian is insecurity of lives and property, the dilapidated economy, corruption, and terrorism. Honorable, how do we tackle insecurity in Nigeria, especially in Southeast?
Okay, you know, my brother, you want to hear the truth?
Yes, sir. That's why that's why you are here, sir.
The truth about insecurity in Nigeria is the same thing, part of what I have explained to you here. Let me use Imo State as an example. Today, sometimes I think about few weeks back or so, you will see some people in social media. They will come out, wear face masks, carry pot on their head, with smoke, and then AK-47 on their hands. You know, they will start saying, "We'll give you 21 days to release Nnamdi. If you don't release him, we will start killing. We will start attacking politicians. We don't want you to collect money again from bus drivers. Blah 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 blah." Those people, will call them criminal elements. We call them criminal elements because they are trying to use what Southeast people are doing, trying to explain and say their mind about what the federal government or what they are facing in Nigeria, like all this issue of restructuring. People feel that Igbos are not being well treated. We agree. We know that. It started for a very long time. And these are genuine reasons some of our brothers are giving. And when they are giving them, for instance, let me even mention IPOB. IPOB will tell you what they stand for. Okay? They will tell you what they stand for. They will tell you the thing that they are fighting for. But when you come out and bring in politics into it, and that's why sometimes IPOB will be smart enough to say, we are not for this, so we are not the people doing this. So you will see that, go and look deep, you will see invisible hands of politicians into that thing that those people are doing. Okay? Before you know what's going on, because of that announcement, you start hearing they have kidnapped this person, they have killed this person. They are killing people hiding under what has been going on in Southeast. You know, when this agitation started, they said that they were fighting some of these herdsmen that came into our place, raping women, doing all manner of things. Okay? Their cause is very clear. What they are fighting is very clear. They have not mentioned, they've never mentioned before that a bus driver should not pay tax in his state. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Yes, politicians are doing that. They want to run the economy of that state down. They want to fight the system because they know that if the system succeeds, they will not come to power next election. Okay? So not only that, they will go as far as killing some people that they perceive to be their enemy, political enemies. Like all these things Nnamdi is talking about now. If you come to Nigeria to contest the election and you say you want to bring German system into this place, something happened to one man, maybe you were in Nigeria when it happened. One man that came from America to contest governorship election, he went for campaign, they shot him on the leg, the man jumped from the window. From that day, nobody has seen him again in Nigeria. We have never seen him. You understand? Violence here is something that they do because they want to be there at all costs. And that's why I started by saying that politicians here are bad losers. If you lose the election, you have something you want to offer to your people. You can criticize the system constructively. We call it constructive criticism, and let them do the right thing. You don't go and start sponsoring violence. You don't go and start killing people for somebody to say it's the government that is doing it. Listen, in my state, my governor is doing very well. Governor Hope is doing very, very well. And I will tell you why I say he's doing very well. When this unknown government thing started, if he had succumbed to that pressure and that threat, today, Imo State will not be peaceful today. And some of the things people hear in abroad and say, don't go there, as people that came home for Christmas. In fact, one of my friends in Ghana called me and said, Honorable, do you know I made a mistake? Oh? I changed my ticket. I was supposed to come back on the 27th of December. I didn't come back because somebody told me that I shouldn't come back. That all my friends in the East are enjoying themselves, that they are calling me. So the point I'm trying to make is that politicians are behind all this violence. And why are they doing it? They are doing it because they don't want to lose the election in 2023. For instance, going to set INEC office ablaze, going to set police station ablaze. They believe that the election in Nigeria cannot be rigged very well if you don't have police on your side, security on your side, and INEC on your side. So it's a form of intimidating them, sending signal to them. We are warning you now that the election has not come. If the election comes and you try to do it, you have yourself to blame. And make no mistake, it's working for them somehow. It's working for them because in Anambra State, all this thing that they are saying INEC, it was because INEC want to play umpire, this time around because they are somehow afraid. You understand? So the violence in Nigeria, in my state, if I want to answer you, is being sponsored by politicians. And it's either you believe it or not. Everything that is happening today, if somebody, for instance, wants to do party, let's use party now, or in Imo State University, the governor hears that unknown government are operating there. Somebody will call him, Your Excellency, people are in Imo State University, they want to kill the students. As the chief security officer of the state, the next thing he will do is to look for a way to protect life and property there. What else do you expect him to do? He will send either military or police to go there and save the students. Now, my brother, how can somebody that decided to go to that school to save the students be the person that will kill the students? But I will tell you the system politicians are using. When they go there and create panic, if you come, the moment you come, before they run away, they kill one or two students. And once they kill those students, the next thing you hear on the internet is that military and police have come to Imo State University to kill students. Then the government will be there shouting, we didn't do it, oh, we didn't do it, oh. We just sent people to go there and protect the students. You understand?
One question,
so
Honorable.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you short. You said that the politicians are behind these insecurities.
Yes.
My question to you is, are those politicians known? If they are known, why are they not bring to the table? Why are we not persecuting them?
Now, I like this question that you've asked now. The way I will answer you, I don't want us to. Do you know that if you have a wayward wife or a girlfriend that sleeps around, if you don't catch a man on top of her, she will never agree that she is committing adultery. She will never. And here, even when you see them coming out from the hotel where they went to sleep with each other, if you see them coming out and you ask her, she will tell you she went there for business. And if you don't catch her red-handed. So the problem we're having here now is this. We know that these are the people doing it. But somebody wants you to say, I had them discuss this. Look at the money he gave to this person. Look at the picture two of them took. And it's impossible for you to do that. Almost impossible for you to do that. It's through investigation and then information gathering, intelligence gathering. And they have gathered all this intelligence. And they are now investigating some of those guys. At the end of the day, all these people, you are going to hear their names. I can assure you.
So are you saying that the Imolites should be patient, that most of these politicians who are involved in sponsoring
definitely the government is on top of it, I can assure you that. And you see, that's why when I tell you that my governor is doing well, I'm not praising him. Okay, I'm not praising him because there are some people that this kind of thing that happened in Imo State will happen in that state. By now, the state would have collapsed. I don't know if you're from Imo State. If there are some places where this thing will happen, that state will collapse. And he has shown capacity. He has shown strength. He has shown that he can defend his people, despite all these things going on. You understand what I'm saying? So the politicians are doing it. And when they are doing it, okay, look at this issue of stay at home. When they talk about Monday to be stay at home, the people that started later changed it and said, Southeasterners will stay at home anytime Nnamdi is going to the court. We all agree that we will do that at that time. But the initial Monday they mentioned, call it politicians hijacked it. They are still creating panic. They are still creating problems in the Southeast because despite every warning given by IPOB and said that we have cancelled that Monday thing. So I'm trying to give you some of these instances for you to know what is happening. And it's all about 2023. Make nothing more, nothing less. It's all about 2023. And like I rightly pointed out, it's not only intimidating INEC, it's not only intimidating the security agencies, it also boils down to most of the people you notice that may likely win an election and effect change, that may suspend monetary politics, that may suspend some of these things who are having a National Assembly. The criminals, the politicians who are doing all these things, when they see you around, because of the kind of money, I have mentioned it before, the kind of money they have, they can even sponsor coup anywhere in the world. So when you come and they feel that people will like you when you go and campaign that they vote for you, they will harass you. They will use the same government that they are calling unknown to intimidate you so they can run away. And the system will remain decadent.
Honorable, please. I have a question.
Yes.
We are in democratic government.
Yes.
And there is an insecurity in your state, in Nigeria or Imo State.
Yes.
What impression does it create when a governor of a state invaded a local government or a council with military helicopter on top, shooting from up to his own people? I have not seen in Nigeria a governor that invited the military with a military helicopter shooting from up because of violence in his state, and admitted that he is the one who invited the military, and they invented even by air bombing people from air, according to what we saw in social media.
You are mentioning two things. You are mentioning two things, using helicopter and invasion. You are mentioning two things. I will agree when you say somebody use helicopter. Helicopter can be used for surveillance. It can be used for intelligence gathering. It can be used to identify where the bad guys are. But if you are talking about invasion, I don't understand what you mean by invasion. If you understand the meaning of invasion, you will know that you are using it wrongly in this aspect. Because when you hear some of the things you hear, that's why I said, if I have Nnamdi Achonu now among this group in Imo State House of Assembly, you will stay here and hear the truth. And when you hear the truth, and somebody else is talking about invasion of a local government, you call him and say, my brother, it's not true. You people should do well and sponsor somebody that, because see, when I say it, you say because I'm working with the group of them. But if you're one of you now is here in the head of assembly and is saying it, you believe him more. And that's why I'm saying do well to sponsor somebody. The government and the governor of Imo State never invaded anywhere with a helicopter. Rather, they were given information that some bad guys are in a particular place operating. It's not new in Nigeria now. In the Northeast, they are using a helicopter to do certain things there. Even sometimes they bomb. But it's not that kind of war here. What they are doing here is to gather intelligence through the helicopter to identify where these bad guys are and to know the particular place where they are coming from. You understand? And that's why I can comfortably tell you, you can exonerate some certain kind of people that you are suspecting to be doing this insecurity thing in Imo State and identify the real guys who are doing it. So
did they in any way throw bomb from
they
up?
didn't throw bomb. What you are seeing on the social media were something sponsored by some politicians. They didn't throw bomb anywhere. They didn't throw bomb anywhere. Do you know what it means by throwing bomb in the place? See,
that's why I'm asking as a chief security advisor.
Let me explain to you, my brother. I'm a student of international politics. If you throw bomb anywhere, there is something we call collateral damage. That collateral damage, even the people who are sending some messages to you now through WhatsApp, you will see it. It's not going to be hidden. If you throw bomb anywhere, that bomb, unless is guided by what they call it again, satellite or so, okay, it will get to the right place where you are aiming. If you don't do that and throw bomb anyhow, you will hear what we call collateral damage, and that damage, somebody will record it and send to you, and you will know that bomb was thrown there, was released there. So no bomb was thrown anywhere. You are just hearing something, just like you watch movie. People will record something and add it in, and you're listening. You think that nothing like that happened, and I'm trying to tell you that nothing like that happened. But the military, you know, if for instance now Mr. President wants to visit Imo State, and because we have a security problem, military can hover around with a helicopter, they can hover around with plane to make sure that the place is safe for Mr. President to visit and go. It doesn't mean that when that thing happens, somebody is invading anywhere. It's fallacy. It's not true.
Okay, Honorable. I think we've discussed this for 2 hours, 30 minutes. We still have lots of questions to ask, but because of our time and because of our audience, we would like to wrap it up. And wrapping it up, I will give each and every one of us 1 minute of ending speech. I will start with Dr. Ezeribe. Your 1 minute.
To hear you. That's why I say something so I can talk loud.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me speak. Let me say again. I said,
we have some audiences. Maybe they'll have questions to ask.
Yes. I said now we want to wrap the show up because of time.
Okay.
And doing so, we will give every speaker 1 minute ending speech. But before we do that, I will leave the room for our audience. I think Charles Achonu is here. If you have a question, Charles Achonu, if you have a question, you can ask. Hello, Mr. Charles. Okay, I think Mr. Charles, if you are hearing me, if you have a question, please indicate. I'll give you the chance to ask a question. Okay, Mr. Charles, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, this is now time for question and answer. If you have any question you want to ask to our guest, you can direct the question to the person.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Yeah. I just want to refer my question to the Honorable.
Yeah.
Honorable, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah. And my question goes to, like, we are talking of restructuring the government. Yeah, it's good. They are saying the current administration is not doing this, is not doing that. I ask, if the little money they get from Abuja monthly, our governors in the East, what did they use it for?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good question you have asked now. You see, I like that question you're asking. What do they use it for? The people who come to Abuja every month after fact meeting, they collect money and go back to their states.
Yeah.
When they go to their state and fail to provide social amenities for their people, somebody say it's Buhari. You know, so the money that they are collecting, some are using it to do roads, some are using it to do to provide a health service system, healthcare system. Some are using it to put in an education system, providing necessary equipment for students to go to school, like computers, and introduce some kind of internet system to some schools.
Yeah.
And some are not doing that much. They are using it to play politics. They are saving it for them to contest either senatorial election after their tenure, or they want to contest presidential election. Like you had one of the governors in Imo State even said that in fact he was richer than a state by the time he left office. You can imagine that type of thing. Today, some of them are declaring for office of the presidency. They want to contest presidential election, coming from southeast. All of us are agitating for Igbo president of Igbo extraction. If you have such people that stole money from their states and killed everything that's supposed to bring development in that state, when you vote him in, somebody will say, Igbos are there. What are you going to get from that type of person? It's the same problem. So the money that they are collecting from, if I have answered you well, the money they are collecting from the national, they provide some of these things, and if you go to Lagos State, it's working. If you come to Imo State is working. Despite this setback, this little setback of insecurity. Why I say it's working is I will give you, if any of you from Imo State, there's a place called Chukwumanwoha. Chukwumanwoha, since I joined politics in 2003, active politics, because that was when I went to House of Assembly first. Chukwumanwoha happened to be a road that every governor that came met that road and abandoned it, ran away without touching that place because of the kind of money that they needed to use in putting that road in order. But today, Senator Hope Uzodimma has repaired that road. Not that he has repaired it. He introduced a kind of tunnel that will direct water from that place to Mori River so that the flooding will stop. And as I'm talking to you, that flooding has stopped. That particular project cost a lot of money. Ordinarily, any governor would have just pocketed the money and go home and go out of office. But because he promised him people that he came to do some work. And that's why I said they should give him chance to do that work. He has done that road. And when somebody look at that road and look at the governor, you will not but say he means well for the people of the state. So Imo State is working. And just like every other state, I don't know about Abia. You know, recently I heard about a joke in Abia where they said that somebody was building flyover. And they asked him about that flyover. He said, did you force me to do flyover for you? It's not me that said I want to do the flyover. That he's doing his best. Anytime he gets money, he put. You can now on your own judge whether that man is doing a lot, enough with the money he's collecting from the federal government, you know. And make no mistake, it's also PDP government, though. It's PDP government.
Oh,
so
God.
what I'm trying to say here is that some of the governors collect money, and you are talking about restructuring. You see, I did not say much about this restructuring. Restructuring in Nigeria is just like where you are talking about pure federalism, okay? Federal system of government, where component states will be totally independent in certain areas, especially in finance, security, and what have you. Now, why is our people agitating for this restructuring? If you go back to history, if you go back to history, during the time of Agironsидem and the military activity, when the Northerners became afraid of the Southerners, you now talk about what is happening in Niger Delta, about oil and agitation there. The North, those people are afraid that if you do restructuring 100%, or if you do federal system of government 100%, that they will be the losers. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that fear is there. But we are saying that when you restructure, I'm in support of it. When you restructure, a viable state is a viable state. It now will need eggheads. Check out somebody like Soludo. Even if he's coming from the poorest of the poorest states, look at his first move. He did not only come to Anambra State to collect people that will develop a system for him in Anambra. He collect from eggheads from other states, intelligent people. If you talk about restructuring, that is a sample of what we are talking about. Because with these people, when they bring their knowledge and place it on the table, Anambra State will boom. And when Anambra State booms, the economy, everything, if it's on the way of agriculture, states can come and have a direct contract with them. If you're producing rice and they're supplying rice to you, you call it comparative advantage in international politics. If you have something better than any other state, they can come and sign an agreement with you. You supply, they buy from you and sell to their people, provided that you have the wherewithal to handle the resources by yourself. The federal government is not going to interfere. Even in security now, that's why you see agitation of state police, because by the time you want to get the commander-in-chief to give approval for military to come or for police to do the needful in your state, the damage has been done. So that's why people are talking about this. If they are given such opportunity to do that, things will all go well. I'm taking your time. Let me just stop there.
Honorable.
Please, moderator. Moderator, please, one more question to Honorable. Very quick one. Please permit me. Very quick one. Can I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Honorable.
Yeah.
You gave reference to Lagos State that they are doing well. That is pure visible.
Yes.
And he said Imo State also is doing well.
Yes.
I could remember a statement from Mr. President when he came to commission, when the Imo State governor invites him. Mr. President said, I thought you invite me to commission projects. I don't know, it's just to commission dam.
Okay. You asked me the question now. I like the question you asked me.
Yeah.
I was present in everything that happened in that presidential visit.
Yeah.
Okay. I was there live. Mr. President never said this thing you said the way you said it. Never. You know one thing that baffles me.
Okay.
When you ask Mr. President question to answer by journalists, people will say he doesn't have brain, he doesn't know what to answer. That is an empty brain. When he will come to somewhere, he said that they hate and makes comments, they will not start quoting him. How can somebody who has empty brain go there and say something that you are quoting him now and saying that? So it then means that when he's in Imo State and make a comment like that, he becomes an intelligent man. But when they interview him, journalists interview him, and he says something, he now become a daft that he doesn't know what to. So how do you reconcile that, my brother? Mr. President never said that thing you just asked now. If you were there when Ohaneze Ndibo met with him in a place, he was visibly excited. And make no mistake about this. You see, the kind of politics we are playing here. Mr. President came to Imo State to be sure that the Southeasterners are not against his administration. And Ohaneze Ndibo gave him the firm promise that they were not against his administration. Even if he had come to commission one gutter or one dam, it's for the state. They invited him to come and commission it. Okay, so all these things people are saying that how can the president say, I thought you asked me to come and
What has he invited, Mr. What has he invited? What do you call it? American president to come and commission in Nigeria. All these things that people are saying, I can guarantee you that that man was happy for that visit. And as we speak now, since after that time, how many times has he met with the governor? If Mr. President was angry with the governor, he would have closed his door behind the governor. Since after that visit, the governor has met him more than 5 times. They are discussing politics of Southeastern Nigeria.
Honorable,
That's the was not made by Mr. President. And I'm sure you hear him say that directly from his mouth. You just read it.
I heard him very well.
Anyway,
I heard him very well.
Honorable,
he didn't say anything like that.
Honorable, please. I don't know when we have somebody like you that is pertaining to security in this platform. Yes. So if I leave you now to go without channeling what about security, I want to ask you, or yes, I want to say before we wrap it up. Just listen to me. What happened? What is happening in West Africa? In 2017, there was a coup in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
2019, coup in Sudan.
Yes.
2020, coup in Mali. The same 2020, military-assisted transition in Tunisia and Algeria.
Yes.
2020, abortive coup in Niger, in Niger. 2021 was coup in Mali. 2021, coup in Guinea. 2021, coup in Sudan. 2022, yesterday, Burkina Faso. And you reason that the insecurity and the corruption in those states brought out all those things. In what level is Nigeria is now about it?
Problem of Nigeria is different from all these countries you have just mentioned now. Is totally different. You know, when I started here, I told you that EFCC is doing a lot of job. This year, in fact, in 2021, recorded the highest number of seizure and the amount of money recovered from criminals and politicians in the history of Nigeria. That means the corruption fight is working.
And where is the money?
The money is there now. I don't want to put it in your personal account.
And why are we borrowing?
Listen, see, the money is there. You make reference to African countries. They don't have the same problem that we have here. Some of them are very hungry. Okay? Some of them are the poverty level there is very high. It's not
to compare to Nigeria.
And insecurity problem in Nigeria is something that you and I have mentioned some of them to you. In Northeast, when Boko Haram started, remember that they came into Abuja. They bombed the United Nations office in Abuja and some supermarkets in Abuja. Today, you don't hear such thing again around Abuja. They are now targeting what you may likely call soft targets in the Northeast and areas like that. If the government is not doing something about it, by now they will overrun Abuja, the whole of Abuja, and even overthrow the system. So when a government is doing something, we should praise them and say that they are doing something. They may not be doing enough. If you ask me now, insecurity problem is a major thing in Nigeria, and I've told you that insecurity problem is something that they are using to distract the government from doing the things that they promised that they'll do for them. How can you, as some of us were Igbos, that's when you learn about Kanachi, okay? Many of these guys that stole Nigeria dry, they know that if the system allows what is happening now, before you know it, they'll get all of them arrested. So they chose to use that money to sponsor insecurity, to do all manner of things. And the military know. Military can only take over government when they see that you have decadent economy, that your economy is not working, and they cannot be able to identify the thing apart from money that the government, people in the government are stealing. So, but here, they know exactly what the problem is, and they are tackling it. So it's not the same thing with all the countries that you have mentioned.
Okay, Honorable. We are going to wrap it up right now because of time. It's almost 3 hours, and like I said, I'm going to give everybody 1 minute closing speech. I will start from my left. Dr. Tony Ezeribe, can you give us your last 1 minute speech before we end?
You mean me?
No. No, not you, sir.
Okay.
I would say many thanks to the Honorable for his his speech. You know, I think he brought life to the discussion. And then I would like to comment quickly on the insecurity problem. I think why we have the level of insecurity we have is because youth are not at work. Youth are unemployed. I think the best way we can solve that is to start thinking of how to create jobs. Okay, start building industries. Start looking for solutions to the power problem of Nigeria, because if there is power and there is industries, our youth will be very busy. If they are busy, there is no amount of money we can pay them for them to leave their job and start shooting guns. And also, I think it's very, very critical for us to, reduce the amount of money we pay to our politicians. We should not make politics a place where people come and make money. If we pay politicians, salaries that are commensurate to civil servants, for instance, people will stop killing people to go to House of Assemblies or Senate or things like that, because they know they will still make the same money if they are directors or permanent secretaries in ministry. So they can bend their head or go and do trade. The only people that can come to politics will be the people that want to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ezeribe. I'm going to Engineer Eru. Can you give us your last speech?
I'll say basically, we are already getting towards a crescendo, because whether we like it or not, this issue of restructuring and also zoning will be a major topic in the incoming presidential election. And I hope it should be handled properly. If not, we all know what's happening in Nigeria. Let me leave it at this point.
All right. I will leave the floor for Nnamdi Achonu, your 1 minute wrap up.
So now I'm part of Mazi people. Anyway, I'm very happy the way Honorable showed us a little bit light in what is going on in Nigerian politics. And for the people that is going to watch this video and people that are watching us, I'm pleading for everybody, Nigerians, to have your PVC. If you don't have your PVC, go that day and vote. Vote your conscience and don't allow any person to buy your conscience. The most important thing I am holding on in this conversation today from Honorable, he said, if we people in diaspora can gather and bring out somebody and sponsor the person to go and represent us and win that election, if it's House of Assembly, if it's House of Senate or representative, then we know we have one person. Before we start fighting from that place, we don't have to be an audience. We have to be one of the lawmakers. So that is what I'm telling. Everybody should please try and vote for your conscience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nnamdi Achonu. And finally, Honorable, can you give us your last 1 minute and this speech?
My brother, I have said enough. I just want to use the opportunity to thank you guys. Honestly, the day I watched your program, I was very impressed, because all the while I keep saying that how do we activate this type of thing coming from diaspora? I didn't know that people like you are doing this type of thing. I will promise that a lot of my people will continue to listen to you. This your program is something that I can say is apt. It's coming when politicians are preparing for the election. And like Nnamdi said, if you guys want to participate, there are so many ways you can do that. I have mentioned some of them. By the time you do it, things will definitely change. And I want to also promise all of you, it's not going to be business as usual. Standard has been set in Anambra, Edo, and some other places. We hope that things will get better. All hands must be on deck. Let us sieve some of the information coming from Nigeria to that place. Don't just believe what you read. Try to ask questions. Do you know that when some of you say you are 20 million in diaspora and that you want to vote, when you continue to say and blame people and listen to lies, people will think that when you come to vote, yeah, you vote based on wrong information you're getting from this area, and it's not going to help. So when you look at things genuinely from people who give you the right information, I think when you want to act, you act in such a way that everybody in Nigeria will be happy with you. So that's what I want to say. And finally, insecurity in Nigeria is bringing us back. It's bringing the country backward so much. Anything we can do from that area, from here, from any of our brothers here, living here, let us do. This country belongs to all of us. If we lose it, we have ourselves to blame. If it develops to a level where things will turn around for all of us, we'll be happy for it. So that's my final word. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. To be very honest, this is my first time to have a direct conversation with somebody from the APC. This is my first time to listen to somebody from the Hope Uzodimma's administration. And I'm very pleased to listen to the things you are saying. And I believe everything you are saying is the truth. And that being said, I want everyone listening to this conversation to know that we are not praying for the government to fail, but we want the government to disappoint us because most of us believe they are not doing well. We want them to disappoint us and do the things they promise to do. We want President Buhari to disappoint us because many youths are disappointed. Many youths know that if you ask anybody now, they will tell you this government has failed. Let the president disappoint us and do something great. Let the governor of Imo State, Edo State, and all the states disappoint the masses and do something great. This is what we are asking for, because the youth does not have faith in this government. Most of the youth does not have faith in this government. We are praying and we are hoping that this government, the incoming government, will disappoint the youth. We want to come back. I want to come back. Nnamdi wants to come back. Most of us here want to come back. This is not our home. Our home is Nigeria. We want you guys in the government to keep doing the right thing, keep giving us reasons to communicate with you people openly, just like you are here today. And we are also inviting you for other topics. We hope you will make yourself available because we have so many things to discuss before the election. And if possible, you can also give us contact from your friends, even in the PDP, even in the other parties. It will be, I was telling Nnamdi, today would have been a very, very hot seat if we had Honorable Bandi today, because it would have been a clash of two strong political parties. But hopefully in the future we can make it work, and we hope you will be available to answer us when next we contact you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good evening and nice weekend.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.